Accept despair.
No, I can't die unfulfilled. How am I supposed to face my people now? I can't stop yet. Only when my quiver is empty can my future begin. I won't stop until the final arrow is fired. My people will be avenged.
Hello everyone, and welcome back to Dragalia Foundry, a fan channel where everything Dragalia Lost can be found.
Well y'all, I was finally able to get my first co-op deathless clear of Legend Ciella using my first ever adventure, Eleonora. That is the video for today. I was super excited to get this done. We're talking Legend Ciella with a focus on co-op because it's been a couple weeks since this content released, but only now have I actually gone in and gotten about 3 clears or so in co-op play. So gonna share some updated impressions as well as talk about my experience with this fight overall. I have to say, I think that this is one of the harder battles in the game right now. I really enjoyed this in solo, was doing a variety of different meme clears using Eleonora, as well as Formal Noel, Forager Mitsuba, Silas got in there, Ronzel, even did a clear with a 4-star Pia, which I thought was particularly funny for solo. But I still felt intimidated by co-op in part because Eleonora's not really particularly suited to this battle. Ciella starts off with 80% poison resistance, and Eleonora's whole thing, mechanically, is basically just poisoning the enemy, so this wasn't a particularly good battle for her to begin with in solo play, and when it came to co-op, I just felt like, all the more so, how am I even going to find people to attempt this with me? Now, thankfully, I was able to use a pre-made group to do this over Discord, so that certainly was a big help. I think if you're running in public lobbies, you're probably going to want to stick to some of the more meta adventures, such as Gala Knot or Gala Ronzel. Even Templar Hope or Dragon Yule Zane are also popular choices, but here in this setting, we're able to bring Halloween Melissa just for fun, as well as Eleonora to this. You actually can clear this in co-op with only 3 adventurers, so you don't technically need the 4th, and basically I'm just sort of getting carried here, to be fair, but I still felt like I was able to contribute a little bit, at least helping with the poison up time, and it was still a pretty fun thing to attempt repeatedly to finally get the deathless down, so I have to say I actually had a lot more fun than I was expecting, with me initially feeling pretty daunted when it came to co-op play. Now, as for co-op, one of the more frustrating things is this portion of the fight where these slimes spawn. You actually don't want to accidentally kill these slimes too early because you need them around to spawn a pot of miracles, which provides a massive buff that's essentially required to survive a whiteout screen-wide attack that Ciella does. Now that Ciella's moved on from the glacier phase, we're safe to kill some of these slimes in the pot of miracles, and so we can get that big defensive buff and elemental resistance buff. But that is one of the things, coordination-wise, which can make this more of a challenge in co-op than in solo. Some of the other mechanics that are different are, when it comes to Tides of Despair, there are 4 times as many ice bombs or 4 times as many water puddles that Ciella will spawn. And when it comes to bolts from above, all 4 players get that, so that can be another mess when it comes to coordination. And if you remember Master Ciella, that was one of the failure points in that fight in co-op play, which ended up leading to a lot of people preferring to just auto it or solo it. It's a similar story here where I feel like Legend Ciella co-op is not going to be for the faint of heart. It's not going to be for everyone, but I did get some of those old school High Dragon vibes playing this with how some of the mechanics aren't super well explained or telegraphed and you kind of have to learn by doing. You know, you might have some diagrams on Discord even to figure out how things work exactly, some write-downs of the different rotations that the boss will do. So that was actually pretty fun and enjoyable for me just as a flashback. I will say I'll probably stick to solo for most of my play for this fight, but if anyone out there is looking to do kind of a meme run or use a fun character that you don't see too often, hit me up on Discord and maybe we can make something happen, because I think that's one of the things I enjoyed most about this. So we cleared with plenty of time, And I think that you can do that if you're running characters like Nod and Ronzel to help carry the load a bit. But otherwise, if you're running a full off-meta team, you might run close to the time limit here. So it's just going to take a little bit of practice and a little bit of rotations, I would think, to get stuff like that done. But it should be doable, I feel. Having said that, I do still feel, as I said at the beginning, I think Legend Ciella is probably the hardest content that we have right now. When compared to the other Legend Agitos, the interesting thing about Ciella is she's a lot less lethal in the Berserk phase that we're in now, but she's more difficult, more front-loaded, and more difficult at the beginning of the fights. You can accidentally die to bolts from above. You can accidentally kill the slime pretty early on. And if you do slime skip or things like that, you don't have to worry. But if you're not quite in that upper echelon of DPS, that can be an issue. So I think that she's designed in an interesting way where if you are resetting, hopefully it's happening earlier in the fight rather than later, which can lead to smoother clears compared to those other battles when they come to the Berserk phase where somebody can just get one shot accidentally. So I like that aspect of her, and I also just like that she has a very different feel to her. She doesn't feel exactly the same as the others. In Berserk, most of her attacks have tells with the exception of this rebounding arrows. That's the only one that loses its visible indicators, really. And at this point, I was just trying to play super safe, rolling around like crazy because I didn't want to accidentally die here and let my team down when we're going for our death list. So yeah, I was just trying my best to survive. So not the best gameplay for sure, not the most aggressive gameplay, not even building up a combo before I use my skills to take advantage of my dragon, but this was basically just instinct at this point of like, how do we get this done? Let's not attempt this anymore. We have to move on with our lives after several attempts. So very, very fun to check this out. I have to say I really enjoyed it, and a big thank you to my teammates for putting up with my want to get an Eleonora clear. We were able to do some other fun clears, such as a Kirsty clear as well, so that was pretty cool. And hopefully, if some of y'all out there have your favorite win characters, you'll post in the comments below, and maybe we can brainstorm some possibilities for getting them through. I think a Gala Ronzel not set up like this should be able to do the trick if you are struggling at all, but having said that, you still need pretty high stats, you still need pretty well-built gear, and it does take a lot of practice, so it's definitely not a gimme, but it makes me hopeful and curious about what our future Legends fights will look like. That should be the final blow, delivered by Eleonora's Viper Bolts, as well as everybody else's attacks there. So I was feeling very triumphant in this moment, attacking like crazy with Eleonora, throwing out the Super Zombie time for our Melsa helper. But I think that is pretty much going to do it for today, everyone. So I hope you enjoyed this look at Legend Ciella co-op. Likely not going to revisit this anytime in the future, anytime soon I should say, but if you're curious about it or want to hear more about it, I could definitely make some more videos on it. It's just that I think I'll probably retire to solo for the most part, with the occasional odd clears thrown in here and there. Once again though, that is going to do it, so let me know how it's been going for you. Otherwise, thank you as always for watching, take care, and I'll see you next time.